Now class, next, after saponifiable lipids, let us now discuss all about non-saponifiable lipids. Again, these are lipids that do not possess or do not contain a fatty acid group. So again, we have two examples for non-saponifiable lipids. We have the fat-soluble vitamins as well as the terpenoids. So class, let's talk about first about fat-soluble vitamins. Now, the basic definition of a vitamins is that these are chemicals that are essential to our body. These are chemicals that are needed by our body but cannot be synthesized by our body. Again, when we say vitamins, ito ay mga chemicals na sobrang kailangan ng katawan natin pero hindi magawa or hindi maproduce ng mismong body natin. Okay? Ngayon, kung kailangan siya ng body natin at hindi siya maproduce ng mismong body natin, then these vitamins are obtained from external factors or external sources tulad ng food and also yung mga dietary supplements or food supplements na tinitake natin. Okay, vitamins. These are substances that are essential to our body but we cannot synthesize it. Thus, it comes from external sources such as food and food supplements as well. Okay, so we have 4 examples of fat-soluble vitamins. And this would be ADEC. So we have vitamins A, D, E, and K. So let's start with vitamin A. Vitamin A class. Okay, it is distributed or it comes with 3 forms. Vitamin A class has 3 forms, namely retinal, retinol, and retinoic acid. Vitamin A has 3 forms. We have retinal, retinol, and retinoic acid. But out of these 3 forms of vitamin A, the most abundant would be the retinol or the alcohol form. Now, we may see to it that there is a similarity within the names of these 3 forms of vitamin A. We have retin, then retin. So class, the presence of retin on the names of these 3 forms of vitamin A would indicate that it has something to do with the retina. And yung retina class, this is a certain part of our eyes, which only means that the primary purpose or function of vitamin A is to improve the function of our eyes. And ano nga ba ang function ng eyes natin? Vision. Vitamin A is very essential for improving vision. And plus, if the patient is deficient or kulang sa vitamin A, it can lead to a condition known as nyctalopia, which is the medical term for night blindness. Night blindness. Nyctalopia or night blindness. Add na rin natin class, vitamin A, this is referred to as the most toxic vitamin. It's the most toxic vitamin, vitamin A. Next, let us proceed with vitamin D. Vitamin D class is chemically known as calciferol. Calciferol, and the primary function of vitamin D is ini-improve or ini-enhance niya yung capability ng body natin na ma-absorb si calcium. So vitamin D's function is to improve or enhance our body's capability to absorb calcium. Improves calcium absorption. Okay? Eh di ba class, ang pinaka-notable or pinaka-significant indication ng calcium is for the regulation of our bones and teeth, right? Bones and teeth. Thus, if kulang si patient sa vitamin D, then it would also affect the absorption of calcium. Eh, di ba class, si calcium, it strengthens our bones. So, if ever na makulangan or humina or bumaba yung absorption ng calcium, then it can increase the risk for bone problems, such as osteoporosis. It increases the risk of having bone problems. Not necessarily kapag kulang sa vitamin D, may bone problems ka agad. Pero increased yung chances kasi nga, it would really affect the absorption of calcium. Okay? Deficiency of vitamin D would significantly decrease or lessen the absorption of calcium. Now, in addition, class, vitamin D is also referred as a sunshine vitamin. Sunshine vitamin. Why? Kasi class, si vitamin D, kailangan niya ng UV rays galing sa sunshine. Okay? Yung UV rays na present sa sikat ng araw ang responsible sa pag-convert ng vitamin D or sa pag-synthesize ng vitamin D sa katawan natin. Wait, I think there's something strange sa nabanggit natin. Wait, vitamin D, di ba? Vitamin D is a vitamin. So dapat hindi siya kayang i-produce ng katawan natin. Pero bakit dito sa nabanggit natin? Sinisynthesize pala siya ng body natin starting from the skin. Kasi class, the word vitamin D is actually a misnomer. Vitamin D class technically is not a vitamin actually. Kasi yung class na nabanggit tayong kailangan ng sikat ng araw para ma-synthesize siya sa body natin. Okay? Thus, vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, but rather, it is classified as a hormone. Okay? It is a certain type of hormone. When we say hormone, these are chemicals that are being synthesized by our body, goes to the bloodstream, thus going to other parts of the body and controlling them or influencing them. Okay? Vitamin D is considered as a hormone kasi sinisynthesize siya ng body natin and it leads to multiple effects. Now, bakit pa rin siya tinatawag na vitamin? Una, essential siya sa katawan natin. Pangalawa, aside sa kaya siyang i-synthesize ng body natin, pwede rin siyang manggaling sa mga food and supplements na tinitake natin. And pangatlo is, vitamin D has already been known as vitamin D. Sikat na siya sa tawag na vitamin D. Okay, so pwedeng marapatin na lang na yun na lang yung itawag. Vitamin D na lang din. Yan yung kilala eh. Okay? But still, okay, vitamin D is not actually a vitamin, but rather it is a hormone. Next, vitamin E. Chemical name of vitamin E would be tocopherol. So class, vitamin E is a well-known antioxidant. Thus, it is primarily indicated to protect the cells from oxidative stress. Pinoprotektahan ng mga antioxidants tulad ng tocopherol yung mga cells natin laban sa mga free radicals na pwedeng mag-cause ng stress doon sa cell, thus leading to its malfunction or even destruction. In addition, vitamin E is also known as the fertility or anti-sterility vitamin. It is known as the fertility or anti-sterility vitamin. Bakit? Kasi class, vitamin E, it is known to protect the sperm cells from oxidative stress. Okay, pinoprotektahan niya yung mga sperm cells sa oxidative stress na pwedeng makasira sa kanila, thus increasing the chances of conceiving a baby. So class, deficiency in vitamin E can lead to cases of sterility or pagkabaog. Kasi nga, kapag kulang si patient, especially si male patient sa vitamin E, pwedeng ma-expose yung sperm cells niya sa oxidative stress. So pwedeng masira yung mga yon, thus decreasing sperm cells and lowering chances of conceiving a baby. So sterility or pagkabaog. And also, deficiency in vitamin E, okay, was led to some cases or rare cases of neurological problems. Neurological problems. Okay. Vitamin E. Lastly, would be vitamin K. Chemical name would be menadione. So class, vitamin K is mainly responsible for blood clotting. Bakit? Kasi class, okay, there are certain clotting factors that are dependent on vitamin K. Pag sinabing clotting factors, ito ay mga enzymes na responsible sa blood clotting. Okay? So clotting factors, these are enzymes that cause or lead to blood clotting by initiating what we call a coagulation cascade. Ang mga clotting factors kasi tinuturing yan zymogens or inactive enzymes. So ngayon, okay, once na may ma-activate lang na isang clotting factor, it will now lead to the activation of other factors. So halimbawa, this factor is activated, so this factor will activate another factor, and yung na-activate na factor will activate another, so on and so forth, up until the coagulation is complete, leading to blood clotting. Okay? So class, if ever na si patient is kulang sa vitamin K, then it may increase chances of opposite of clotting, bleeding. Okay? Bleeding. Okay? And in addition, vitamin K also serve as the antidote for warfarin toxicity. It is the antidote for warfarin toxicity. So all about warfarin will be discussed on your pharmacology, but I think it is reasonable to add this as an additional information. So class, these are the examples of our fat-soluble vitamins, with the exception of vitamin D because it is technically a hormone. Next would be terpenoids. So class, when we say terpenoids, from the name itself, these are compounds that are comprised of terpenes. And terpenoids are also termed as isoprenoids kasi class, yung terpenes na pinanggagalingan ng mga terpenoid compounds is nanggaling naman sa mga isoprene units. So terpenoids came from terpenes and terpenes was derived from isoprene. Isoprene class is a compound or this is structure mainly comprised of 5 carbons and 8 hydrogen atoms, in which one terpene unit is equivalent to 2 isoprene units, which is equivalent to 10 carbons and 16 hydrogen. Okay? Kasi 1 isoprene, 5 carbon, 8 hydrogen times 2 mo lang, C10H16. So class, we have several types of terpenoids. Okay, so let's start with monoterpene. So from the name itself, mono, it is comprised of 1 terpene and is derived from 2 isoprene units. Thus, it is equivalent to 10 carbon and 16 hydrogen atoms. Next would be sesquiterpene. So class, when we say sesquiterpene, it contains 1 and 1/2 of terpene units. So mag-ratio proportion lang tayo guys, no? If 1 terpene is equal to 2 isoprenes, then 2 terpene will be equal to 4, right? So 1 and 1/2, it will be equivalent to 3 isoprene units, which is equivalent to, okay, C15 H24. 15 carbons and 24 hydrogen atoms. Next naman, class would be diterpenes. Diterpenes contains 2 terpene units, which is derived naman from 4 isoprene units, which is equivalent to 20 carbons and 32 hydrogen atoms. Okay. Then triterpenes, it has 3 terpene units, which is derived from 6 isoprene units, which is equivalent to 30 carbons. Okay. And then lastly will be tetraterpenes. Okay, tetra means 4. So they have 4 terpene units, which is equivalent to 8 isoprene units, which is equivalent to 40 carbons. So ito class, yung iba't ibang types natin ng terpene compounds. So class, compounds that may be derived from terpenoids or terpene compounds would include volatile oils. So class, as we have said on our previous discussions, yung pleasant odor na present sa mga volatile oils is due to certain types of terpenoids or terpene compounds. Next, artemisinin. It is a well-known anti-malarial agent. Taxol. It is the precursor of a certain example of anti-neoplastic agents known as taxanes. And next would be squalene. So class, squalene, these are terpenoids that serve as precursor of sterols. And when we say sterols class, these are compounds that possess this molecule in their structure. Ano to structure na to na present sa lahat ng sterols? Ang tawag dito class would be the CPPP nucleus. Okay? So the CPPP nucleus stands for cyclopentano perhydrophenanthrin nucleus. Cyclopentano perhydrophenanthrin nucleus. Cyclopentano perhydrophenanthrin nucleus. So some of us memorize this. Okay, just for fun, cyclopentano perhydrophenanthrin. Yeah, it sounds fun when you memorize it. Yet, we can use this para ma-dissect yung structure ng CPPP nucleus. So class, from the name itself, the CPPP nucleus is primarily composed of a phenanthrene ring. So ito class ang phenanthrene. Now, katabi ng phenanthrene is yung term na perhydro. So class, organic chemistry, when we use the term perhydro, it refers to hydrogenation. And hydrogenation class usually refers to the removal of double bonds. Which means, when you pronounce the term perhydrophenanthrin, it simply means phenanthrene that has been hydrogenated. Or sa madaling salita, ito ay phenanthrene na natanggalan na or nawalan na ng double bonds. So when this phenanthrene undergoes hydrogenation, okay, when it undergoes removal of double bonds, it will become like this. So ito yung tinatawag nating perhydrophenanthrene. And cyclopentano naman class means there is a cyclopentane or cyclopentane ring rather. Cyclopentane ring na naka-attach sa ating perhydrophenanthrene. Thus the term cyclopentano perhydrophenanthrene. Now, there are several types or there are some types of sterols in every living organism. For example, sa mga plants, ang present na sterol would be phytosterol. Examples would include stigmasterol, and beta-sitosterol. These are just some examples of phytosterol present in plants. For fungi naman would be ergosterol, which has something to do with their structure. And para naman sa mga animals, especially as humans, the predominant sterol would be cholesterol. So nung nasa baba class, ito yung structure ng cholesterol. It is primarily composed of 27 carbon. Okay? And 27 carbon. Okay? So yung mismong cyclopentano per hydrophenane tree natin, 20. 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 27 carbons. So class ganito. Many of us, many people connotate cholesterol as being bad for our body. Ang paniniwala na madami, ang cholesterol daw is masama sa katawan. When in fact, cholesterol is beneficial. We won't say good, but rather beneficial. Okay? Nakakatulong siya, napaka-importante niya sa katawan natin. Napakaraming notable or napakaraming significant uses ng cholesterol in our body, which includes the following. First, cholesterol, it maintains the cell membrane fluidity. So we have already told this on our previous discussion. Okay, di ba? Meron tayong tatlong predominant lipids sa cell membrane. We have the phospholipids, glycolipids, and cholesterol. Okay? So class, when we say fluidity of the cell membrane, okay, it has something to do with the semi-permeable nature of the cell membrane. Diba class, if we will go back to our previous biology classes, we will be aware that cell membrane is considered as semi-permeable. When we say semi-permeable, diba, it allows passage of some substances, some molecules, but others not. Okay, kumbaga ilan lang ang pwede makapasok sa cell membrane or makatago sa cell membrane. Yung iba, hindi. So this semi-permeable nature of the cell membrane is due to its fluidity, which is maintained naman by the three primary lipids that are present, namely phospholipids, glycolipids, then cholesterol. Next would be myelin sheath. So class, no, as we have said on our previous discussions, myelin sheath is primarily comprised of sphingomyelins, yet there are also cholesterol that are present. Next, cholesterol serve as a precursor for the synthesis of vitamin D, which is again technically not a vitamin but rather a hormone kasi sinisynthesize siya ng body natin. Next, cholesterol is also a precursor of what we call bile acids. So class, bile acids, their primary function is for fat breakdown. They are essentially for fat breakdown, emulsification, and absorption. Ito class yung uses or indication ng ating bile acid. So it is responsible for fat breakdown, emulsification leading to absorption. So paano? Kasi class, ang medium sa ating intestines ay aqueous. Means it has something to do with water. It is polar. Eh yung fats, guys, for example, yung fat or lipids na galing sa kinakain natin, as we all know, and we should already know this, that fats or lipids are non-polar. Thus, fats from what we eat in the aqueous medium of our intestine will not go well, it will not interact well. Thus, kung fats lamang, hindi ito maa-absorb. Kung fats lang, hindi yan maa-absorb, so tuloy-tuloy natin yung i-eliminate when we defecate, pag tayo ay nagpoop. So ngayong class, ginagawa ng bile acids is, binibreakdown niya yung fats into smaller components or smaller substances. In addition, they emulsify fats. Meaning, si bile acids, yung nagsisilbing tulay para magkaroon ng interaction or para makapasok si fats doon sa intestines at ma-absorb siya. Okay? And si bile acids, it emulsifies fats. Okay? Thus, nagkakaroon ng way para si fats is makapag-interact at makapasok at makatagos sa intestine, leading to its absorption to the bloodstream. Okay? So yan, bile acids. Okay? And next, cholesterol also serve as a precursor for steroid hormones. And steroid hormones. Okay? Examples of steroidal hormones would include mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, and sex hormones. So example of mineralocorticoid would be aldosterone. So aldosterone, guys, it is mainly responsible for sodium and potassium regulation or balance. Next, glucocorticoids. Example would be cortisol. So from the name itself, gluco, so it's something to do with sugars or carbohydrates. So glucocorticoids, they are responsible for carbohydrate metabolism. They're responsible for carbohydrate metabolism as well as it can also serve as an anti-inflammatory agent or substance. And sex hormones naman class, like sa females, we have estrogen and progesterone. While for males naman, the sex hormone would be testosterone. Testosterone. So these are just some of the very beneficial uses or indications of cholesterol. It serves as precursor for so many types of substances and compounds that are very important for our body. Okay? And lastly, cholesterol class serve as a precursor for what we call lipoproteins. So class, when we say lipoproteins, these are transport form of lipids. So dito papasok yung concept na ang cholesterol daw is masama sa katawan. Okay? So class, lipoproteins, these are transport form of lipids in which yung cholesterol or yung lipid is binalutan ng proteins. Hence the term lipoproteins. So bakit nga ba na bubuo or bakit nga ba sinisynthesize itong si lipoproteins? So class, ang mga lipids kasi tulad ng cholesterol, kailangan yan ng mga cells bilang precursor para sa synthesis ng napakaraming compounds tulad ng mga to. Kailangan ng cells ng cholesterol or lipids para magawa yung mga yan. Now, ang mga lipoproteins, sinisynthesize yan mainly sa liver. So ngayon, galing sa liver, para makapunta or makarating sila sa cells kung saan sila kailangan muna nilang makadaan at makalampas sa bloodstream. Class, ang medium ng ating blood or yung fluid ng ating blood is water. So ngayon, kung lipids lang, tapos yung water na fluid ng dugo, hindi sila makakapag-interact na maayos. Hindi makakadaan at hindi makakalampas kung lipid lang sa bloodstream. Baka nga hindi pa siya makapasok in the first place. Kasi lipid siya, non-polar, tapos yung fluid ng dugo, polar. So ngayon, ang gagawin is, si lipid, babalutan ng protein. Si cholesterol na nasa liver, it will be converted into a certain type of lipoprotein which is VLDL, kung saan yung lipids is babalutan ng proteins. Kasi class, somehow, proteins contain or possess polarity, thus it enables them to enter and interact with the bloodstream. Yan, si proteins. So ngayon, si proteins yung magpa-front para kay lipids. Kasi si proteins yung kaya makipag-interact or kaya makadaan sa bloodstream. So ngayon, once cholesterol is covered with proteins and it is converted into a lipoprotein, it can now enter the bloodstream in which, fast forward tayo, the LDL will undergo a series of enzymatic reactions leading to the formation of LDL na tinatawag natin as bad cholesterol. Bakit siya tinawag na bad? So class, kung si LDL mismo, hindi naman talaga siya bad. Hindi siya bad talaga. Okay? Kasi after ma-synthesize ni LDL sa bloodstream, didiretso na yan sa cells kung saan sila kailangan para makapag-produce ng iba't ibang types ng substances tulad nito. Which is beneficial, right? Now, nagiging bad lang si LDL cholesterol kapag may sobra. Nagsisimulang maging bad or nagsisimulang mag-exert ng undesirable effect si LDL kapag may excess. Kapag sinabing excess, ito yung mga nagsisirculate na LDL sa bloodstream na hindi na kailangan ng cells or kumbaga okay na, nasupplyan na yung cells ng LDL. So anong gagawin doon sa extra? Okay? Paikot-ikot lang sila sa bloodstream. So ngayon, yung mga excess LDL na present sa bloodstream is pwedeng atakihin ng mga white blood cells. And pag nangyari yun, once this excess LDL are attacked by white blood cells in the bloodstream, it can lead to the formation of what we call plaque or lipid plaque. Okay? At yung plaque na to, itong lipid plaque na to, pwede siyang mag-adhere or dumikit sa walls ng blood vessel. And pagka nangyari yun, pagka dumikit siya sa walls ng blood vessel, magkukos ito ng blockade or harang. Okay? Thus, ang tawag natin doon, once na magkaroon ng plaque, tapos mag-adhere siya doon sa walls ng blood vessel at magkaroon ng blockade, ito yung tinatawag nating atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. Okay? It is a certain type of blockade which is caused by the formation of lipid plaque adhering to the walls of the blood vessel. And this atherosclerosis can lead to certain types of cardiovascular diseases such as hypertension, dyslipidemia, heart failure, angina pectoris, coronary heart disease, and so much more. Okay? Ito yung reason kung bakit tinawag si LDL cholesterol as bad. Technically, hindi naman talaga siya bad. Nagiging bad lang siya kapag sumusobra. Kahit ano naman, di ba? Anything na sobra sumasama. So now, what does our body do? Okay? Para maiwasan to or mapigilan to or mapababa yung risk ng ganitong event. Di ba nabanggit natin na si LDL, ginagamit siya ng mga cells para makapag-produce ng iba't ibang types ng substances. At isa sa mga substances na pinoproduce ng cells out of LDL is HDL or high density lipoprotein. So ito naman yung kino-consider as the good cholesterol sa paanong paraan. After ma-synthesize ng HDL sa cells, lalabas ito, pupunta ng bloodstream, tapos maghahanap siya or sa pharmacology, the term is scavenge. Okay? Maghahanap siya, manghahunt siya, or mang-i-scavenge siya ng mga excess LDL. Okay? Na pwedeng mag-cause ng blockade sa bloodstream. So gagawin niya, once na mahanap niya yung mga excess LDL, kukunin niya yon, okay? Tapos dadalhin niya pabalik sa liver. Okay, yan. Dadalhin niya pabalik sa liver. Yun ang ginagawa ni HDL. Sa pharmacology, the term would be lipid scavenger because it hunts and scavenges excess LDL and bringing them back to the liver. Kaya siya naging good. Kasi kapag binalik niya yung mga excess LDL na nasa bloodstream, then yung risk ng pagkakaroon ng plaque, yung risk ng pagkakaroon ng atherosclerosis and subsequent cardiovascular diseases mababawasan. Okay? So class, This would be the end of our lecture for lipids. If you have any questions or concern about this topic or in any other matter, please feel free to contact me. Thank you for listening.